Hello, and welcome to our last session on skills. We have talked about teaching listening, reading, speaking, and today we're talking about teaching writing. In this session, we'll discuss the importance of writing. We'll focus on product and process approaches to writing. And of course, we'll do some conclusions for Interclass. So writing is a productive skill. So a teacher needs to set the ground for it. Vocabulary, organization, ideas, organize the process of production, and assess the product. So if we compare writing to speaking, we'll probably see that, and many teachers will tell you, that writing is more difficult. Why? Because it has high lexical density, it's a solitary activity, the sentences may be complex, not one word answers, and of course spelling. If pronunciation is difficult to form, spelling, especially English spelling, is even more difficult. So writing is very important because it's a form of output, it's a productive skill. It is a good means of building fluency. So it sets the ground for fluency. Actually, it's the way of developing accuracy. And that is how children can also express their creativity, uniqueness, and it's an important skill for our success. So, 4 kinds of knowledge that we need for writing: spelling, punctuation, grammar, structure, selection, lexics, cohesion. What is this? This is the knowledge of the language. Knowledge of topic. And now you'll probably say, yeah, that's the background knowledge. That's our schemata. That's what we have already learned about the topic. Knowledge of an audience, that's difficult and more advanced. And we have to activate our schemata of whether it's the formal writing or what type of a content we are going to produce. The types of writing, usually many researchers and many specialists talk about 5 types of writing. They are very much coincide with the thinking skills that we teach. So we teach narration, description, comparison and contrast. We also describe the topic or talk about the topic, and we talk about for and against, so or persuade. So when we write for final exam in Ukraine, our students need to write an email, an article, an essay, a letter, a report, and a review, which is pretty difficult. And the same is necessary for passing an FC exam for B2 level. So we don't talk about it now. It's the focus of specific of other sessions, not today. But what we're going to talk today about is the difference between product and process approaches to writing. If you have already processed all our classes, and if you thought about them in relation to how we teach, you will probably see the same idea. The more we involve our students, the better it is for the formation of their skills, and not only language skills, but also the 21st century skills. And the better it is for their motivation and for their interest in language learning. That is how the 2 approaches to teaching writing are distinguished. Product approach is the very basic approach. It's when you give, for example, your kid a map and you say, write about your favorite pet. And using the map, the kid writes about the pet. And usually it's when you give the pattern or when you give the schema and the student writes using this scheme. For many, many years, product approach was the okay approach in teaching languages. However, with the development of action-oriented learning, with the development of learner-centered teaching, with the development of the focus on learner involvement, the process approach appeared. And this process approach is about not only about the product, it's about the whole process of writing. When students extend the idea, generate ideas, then organize them, then write the first draft, then exchange the drafts, then do peer correction, and only then produce the final draft. You probably have noticed from this description and this comparison that the process approach to writing is not that easy. Yeah, unlike the product approach, where we just read the model text, so then highlight the features, organize ideas, and write. The process approach involves so many more steps, like student organize ideas by themselves. They brainstorm the ideas. They do peer revision, and many teachers will probably tell, "Oh, that's difficult," because all the steps. They are so numerous and they are not like going from planning to writing, and that's it. Yeah? So they are about planning, they are about processing, and they are about so many other stages that are involved into this process. Of course, if we talk about process writing, it has some drawbacks. It takes too much time, and students may lose the focus or interest. And again, at the early stages of learning, it's just not applicable. It's not good for using. However, if you use it at the advanced stages, you will see that this collaboration, the emphasis on creative process, and the global focus on purpose may really help your readers. So, important moment here. When either you do process approach or product approach, you will need to correct your students' writing. And there are many ways of correcting it. However, I would recommend to set the same proofreading marks with your students that they probably have in their language 1 classes, or the marks that they know. And using these marks, you at first, when you are at the product writing stage, at the initial stage of learning, you correct. And then when you start using process writing approach, when you can write for a longer time, when your students can use their writing for peer reviewing, they will already know the marks and they will be easily using them. So Some conclusions for Interclass. We teach writing all the time, from the very first stage. Our students at first trace, then copy, then write words. We use lots of scaffolding, and for many, many years, until the 6th level, all the writing is mostly the product approach. Because when it is the product approach, it is learner-centered, but it is also teacher-centered as well. Later, after the 6th level and the 7th level and up, if your students have the proper level of knowledge, you can go to the process approach, which is very learner-centered, which raises motivation and develops creativity. And please don't forget that writing is extremely important for our students, because especially in Ukraine, the final exams at school are written exams, and their success in this exam usually crowns the whole education process. So don't forget about writing. Practice writing even small pieces of it every time, even if it's not the process writing, even if it's the product writing. English spelling is very, very difficult. So students just need to practice the spelling. So use any opportunity for this practice spelling, then product approach, then process approach. So thank you at this stage, and goodbye.